Good morning. I'm your host, Brittany Ronk, and we have an incredible show for you today because we have the Prince of Fashion himself, Travis Winkey here. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And we're here with Travis Winkey.
How are you, Brittany?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good.
If you hear a lot of sounds and music and hollering and just people having fun, that's because we're here live on the USS Constellation in the beautiful inner harbor of Baltimore. And I think we should just get started. Again, you're doing good. That's so great to hear.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Hanging on in there. Yeah.
Before I get started on any questions and stuff, is there anything you would like to promote and show?
So, I haven't done too much when it comes to fashion shows because of the pandemic. But we're going to do some things on social media. So hopefully by September, sometime in September, I'm doing a class, workshop, something on runway modeling. I have my own theory and concept on runway modeling, and that's what I'll be working with some young people on television. Social media.
Just to pause you 1 second. Yeah. Again, if you guys are hearing sounds like a marching band outside. I'm not entirely sure what I'm hearing, but there's definitely marching happening. So if you see us looking distracted, that's because we are here live. But that's incredible. So we can see in September, hopefully, something on your social media for modeling.
I'm trying to get it on social media by September. So I'm talking to some marketing people and that kind of thing. And when it comes up, we'll have the first part of it.
Yeah, fantastic. So segueing a bit, I saw, as many people in Baltimore know, you've given back to the youth countless amounts of time. Is there a reason that's so important to you, why you try to do that constantly?
Well, I've been in this business now this year 50 years. So as far as youth is concerned, when I started dancing, and I was a dancer. So in my teens, I was a street dancer. So we went to all the parties and the clubs, been all kind of contests with dancing. When I got into my 20s, I got very interested in fashion. And some of the top, we look at the top models in runway shows, but most in television. Freddie Astaire and Ginger Rogers, he always had nice suits on, tux, and she would have these beautiful dresses. And I love that kind of stuff, so it really perked my interest when it came to fashion. And so what I did was I had a little group that we went out and danced with, like go-go girls and boys, so we were doing the go-go dancing like everywhere. But after that, I said, let me start a little modeling group. Didn't know what I was doing. Having a good time. We started a little modeling group, and a modeling group and a dance group, and we used to go out and do little shows and stuff like that. And it just got to my late 20s, my early 30s, it just exploded. And I started doing shows all over the city of Baltimore. I went to a couple of dance schools. I started to go to some modeling schools, but they were too expensive. you know, you're like $2,000 to $5,000. I just couldn't afford that. I'm from a family of 15. So I just kept doing what we were doing. I did start doing a lot of shows and working with a lot of models and just creating things. And that's how it came to the point where I was, with me creating different little things that I was doing to create my own style and my own concept as far as modeling was concerned, and that's what I did.
So how did you get the title, the Prince of Fashion?
Well, you know, at that point I was really doing like a lot of fashion shows. And Muhammad Ali would always come in town with different things. People would bring him, if I was doing fashion, they would bring him to my fashion show. That's how I met Muhammad Ali.
Wow.
And so I did a show for the mosque. One day Muhammad asked me, he said, "Hey, Mr. Winkey," he's kidding all the time. He's a real jokester. And he said, we was out to, we was with Eddie Kendricks. And I had did some shows, and Eddie Kendricks came. A lot of the stars would come in town, they would come to my shows if they were available. And so he wanted to take us out to
Pause you one more second. Just hear the bells and stuff. Again, reminding everybody we are here on the USS Constellation live. Please continue.
So myself and Eddie Kendricks and Muhammad Ali went to dinner, and this was downtown Baltimore. And Ali said, "I want you to do something for me now. The next time I come in town, I want a fashion show for me." I said, okay, that's fine. I'll let you know when, you know.
Right. Oh, we want to hear more Travis, believe me, but we have to take a little break. We will be right back.
Okay.
Winkey.
How you doing?
We are still here live on the USS Constellation, so if you see tourists coming and sounds and music and people just being lively, that's why. So you were just telling us about your experience with Muhammad Ali. Please continue.
Well, as I said before, Ali would come in town, and I was with a karate club, the Defenders Karate Club at the time. And a lot of the guys knew Ali in the karate club. So when he'd come in town and it would always, if I had a show or something, they would always bring Ali. And then Ali started asking about me.
Wow.
You know, after we had lunch about 2 or 3 times together when they came in town. And so I did a show with Eddie Kendricks. And Eddie Kendricks is in town. And so he met with Ali, and then I happened to meet up with Ali again with them, and just talking in general. And Ali said, and the restaurant we was in, a lot of people kept coming by and saying, "Oh, Travis. So Ali said, "Oh, you're pretty popular, but you ain't popular as me." You know, and I said, "Okay." I don't think I'm popular at all, to tell you the truth. But we just had a good talk. And from there, I became pretty good friends with the Muslims and Eddie Kendricks and Ali and people like a lot of stars we used to see all the time. So from that, when I was doing shows, that even helped me to do more shows. Jada Pinkett was one of my students at the time.
Wow.
You know what I mean? You know who Jada Pinkett Smith is?
Yes, yes.
She was one of my students, and Jada, she's like 10 years old. She's doing pageants with Pawnee Ross Studios in Columbia. And I started teaching for Pawnee Ross in Columbia, teaching modeling. And I was just doing it out of my own experience. So, by knowing a lot of people, I just got around a lot, doing a lot of shows. Working for other people, you know what I mean? So,
absolutely.
knowing Ali, when he did come in town, we'd find ways that we would go. Either Eddie and them would call when Temptations come in town. They would call me and say, "Hey, Travis, what you doing? Any girls at the shop?" I said, "No, ain't no girls up here." so, come on, come to the show. And they always give us tickets to the shows. Or we'd be on the door or something. So we were all real tight. And so I did a show one time, and Ali was there. And it was we were going to have a small rehearsal the next day for another show we were doing. And we did that at the Marsh on Wilson Street in Baltimore. And so Ali came in because he knew everybody in the Muslim world. And he came in and while we were rehearsing, and he said, "Travis Winkey, hey man, how you doing?" You know, sweet. He said, "You may be the Prince of Fashion, but I'm the greatest." And everybody started laughing and clapping and stuff. I said, "Okay, I ain't got nothing to say about that." I said, "How you doing?" And we just went on and started talking. And from that, he said it again at a couple shows that I was doing. This was all within maybe a 2 to 3 year span. And it just got known in the overseas and everywhere. They called me the Prince of Fashion.
Right.
And so it came from that. And Ali really, when he said it over 3 or 4 times, you know what I mean? I really took it to heart. I took it to heart and started believing that. And you know, and it helped me with my business because I only wanted to do the best, especially for like young kids and that kind of thing. So we started doing like benefit shows all over the place. Wow. And started doing shows. We're in Maryland, then we started going back and forth to New York. I met Susan Taylor, and I knew her from some time back. And she, at that point, she was the fashion editor of Essence magazine. Mm-hmm. And they brought me to do one of the Essence festival, not festival, but a big show in New York that Essence magazine was a part of. And so, you know, I just started getting around, and you know, it just came.
Muhammad Ali said so too. Yeah, the Prince of Fashion.
Yeah, so I believed it, and people started calling me that, and I said, "Great."
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
So most everybody knows that you started making your own style of modeling and
yeah.
putting choreography into it. Like,
yeah.
What was your process with that?
Well, you know, I would be in my studio and we would practice every day. And even when nobody was around, I was practicing, making up things, doing things. I would go to all the big fashion shows, you know, where you might see like Beverly Johnson and some of the top models in the world. And then I started working behind stage for a lot of models, not models, but for the designs. I worked backstage for Issey Miyake.
Wow.
In New York. I worked backstage with Bill Blass. I got to know him real well. And then I became friends with 2 guys who were in fashion, they were designers. Willie Smith of Willie Wear and Patrick Kelly. Patrick Kelly was from down south. And he was the first black designer that got the Chambre Syndicale. The Chambre Syndicale is like the elite of Paris. And he was accepted into that group of designers. And Patrick Kelly used to work for some of the top designers over in Europe. So every time we would go to Europe, we would stay with Patrick in his flat. And Willie of Willie Wear, he was in Philadelphia. And when Patrick would come from overseas, or come up from down south, we'd get to call me, I'd get with Willie, and I'd get with Patrick. They would stay over my place for a couple of days just to get to the harbor, just to come to the harbor. I mean, the harbor was big then, I mean, really big. And we would come down the harbor and do things, but it's just knowing a lot of those folks, it'd be an entry to a lot of different venues and meeting people. And from doing those in the United States, I started doing shows over in Europe and been to Africa. I've done about 5 or 6 countries in Africa. I've done Paris, I've done Milan, Rome. I mean, we've done a lot of fashion shows for different people. And the greatest thing about it was I didn't get paid a lot of money. And I was paid a little something, you know, but my way was paid to every country. I had the best hotels, you know what I mean? So that alone was paid for me,
right.
You know what I mean?
The experience.
But, yeah, the experience of it. But it was great, I mean, and And even now, and I got a lot of friends over in the islands, in the French Caribbean islands, and Bermuda, and places like that. So that's just a lot of it. We've just been doing things.
Yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. We have to go to a break right now, but we'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm Brittany Ronk, and we are here with the Prince of Fashion, Travis Winkey. And again, we are here live on the USS Constellation. The harbor is going nuts. There's people out here singing, people out here dancing, just having a ball. Honestly, you should come see it for yourself. Got a few more questions for you, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
The first one I have is, we've heard a lot about how you danced and you designed and you choreographed. Is there any of the three, of modeling, dancing, and all, that you found more passion in doing?
Well, I got a passion for fashion. That is my passion. Barring nothing. I've been to so many different countries in the world. I've worked with the Miss Model International, which was 75 countries. There's 75 girls from all over the world. They would always like to go to the islands for the contest, but it was in, we've done it in about 6 or 7 different islands. We only did it in Paris once. Not really big in Paris, but when we got to the islands, it really grew to 75 girls from all over the world. And so I've done that, and they used to, from when we was in Paris, a lot of times girls would come from different countries and they were close because you could take a train ride to different places. And a lot of times they had problems getting girls to be able to come and be in the show. And they would send me out there with all my information from the United States of America, and they were doing a show, and it would be more convincing to some of the countries and people that they had to talk to. So I would do that a lot. I just had the most wonderful experiences a person could ever have. I'm from a family of 15 years. I've never had a whole lot of money to do that stuff, or to go to all these places, but it just happened. God's just probably been on my side.
Right.
But yeah, so that's my passion. It's fashion.
That's completely fair.
Yeah.
You've done enough in the industry that it can be your total passion. Growing up in Baltimore, how has that really shaped you?
Well, my mother and my father, were my first people that I would say was my heroes, I got 7 brothers and 8 sisters. And so I remember one time we were living on McCullough Street. That's where I was born and raised, on McCullough Street, right near Druid Hill Park, 1 block from Druid Hill Park. And it was 12 or 13 of us in one little house, 2-story house. So it was like 5 guys in the bed, the girls had a bed, they was there, my mother and father slept downstairs, my uncle slept in the basement. So I know, so coming up in Baltimore was the greatest experience of my life. I got to know so many people. I knew all the politicians. A lot of politicians became students of mine. So when it comes to some of the politicians in Baltimore, Catherine Pugh, Nick Mosby, he started he was 10 years old. Kathy, when she was going to Morgan State College, when she first came to Baltimore, she joined my studio because her cousin was with my studio. And there are a lot of people in politics, who were politicians, their daughters and their sons and relatives came to the studio. And a lot of the politicians were in a lot of my studios, fashion shows as guests. I did a series of shows at the Lexington Market years ago, and we did it for 10 years straight. And all the politicians wanted to be there as like guest models, So we did a lot of that, I really had a great time with the things I've done in fashion just in Baltimore and around the country. One of the things I did I was really, really proud of. We did, I choreographed on stage the Miss Black USA pageant. But what happened is, a girl by the name of Dawn Moss. Dawn Moss was going to Morgan at the time, and she joined my studio. And I taught her, and we worked for her, and we wanted to put her in the Miss Black USA pageant. And she was scared at first. I said, "No, girl, you can do this." She won the Miss Black USA pageant.
Wow.
And she won it, and then now she's working over in Washington, and she heads up about 5 restaurants, the Caroline Country Kitchens. And Dawn Moss is the head of the first person to head of the restaurants. But the thing is, before that, Dawn was in the pageant. She got so good with the people that owned the pageant. They were going to take the pageant to the Gambia, West Africa, because they had a relationship with the king or the president of the Gambia, West Africa. And so the Gambia of West Africa paid the way for all the girls in the pageant to come to the Gambia for the pageant there. And it was about 35 or 40 girls. That country paid for all of them to come there. Dawn Moss got in touch with me, who used to be one of my models, and asked me would I come there to produce the show. So we talked. She had the people from Africa, from the Gambia, to fly me over, or whoever I wanted to come over with, and I went over. And we was over there for like 2 weeks and a half. And huge show with the girls from the United States.
So people of Baltimore just kept looking out for you constantly.
Yeah, they really have, yeah.
I mean, I found living here, honestly, that most of the time Baltimore is very close-knit like that. They love to just support other creators from Baltimore.
I mean, I've been to so many different countries, it's crazy. But I'm going to tell you one thing, I haven't been nowhere where I'd rather live than right here.
Absolutely.
You know, back and forth to like Atlanta and New York and places like that, but Baltimore's my home, you know. A lot of people say, "Why you in that Baltimore?" I said, "Why? I can go anywhere in the world right from here, you know, so I'm here."
Well, we are getting ready to wrap it up. Is there any last thoughts for our audience?
I don't know, but just be cool. Do something every day. Exercise, walk, just do something every day for your body.
You heard it from the Prince of Fashion himself. Do something every day. That's an order. Thank you guys so much for being here. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm Brittany Ronk, and this is Travis Winkey. We're about to start closing up. Is there any last thoughts about your upcoming event for September that you would like to do?
Well, I just like people to stay tuned to what we're doing. My Facebook, I have a Facebook page, Travis Winkey. My ass and stuff over there. And we'll be around town talking to different people, but keep in mind that probably sometime in late September that we'll go online with a class. And it's going to be all about runway modeling. And I'm doing that because I'd really like to help a lot of these young kids out who just can't afford to go a year to a school and pay all that money. But at the same time, I like to do something for the fashion industry. I think I have some great ideas when it comes to the basis of modeling. And the base of modeling to me would be posture. You know what I mean? We have so many kids that are trying to get in these fashion shows and they're walking all kinds of ways, they don't have no posture. And I think to be a great posture, to be a great model, you need to have great posture. And so that's one of my main things I want to do when it comes to doing this class online. And the other thing is, when I was doing my studio, when I was teaching my studio, we would always have once a month rap sessions. And the rap sessions was to just talk to the people in the studio, let them tell us what they were doing during the week or anything they want to talk about. But then I would come in there and say, look, this is the way I like to live. I really believe in people living a model life. And when I say living a model life, just living the best life you can live. You know, now a couple of people often ask me, well, who would I think, who somebody I would think that they would know would have a model life, okay? Mm-hmm. First person, that was Diana Ross. From the time she came up there, you can't know really bad stuff about Diana Ross, and it's seen by millions of people all the time. And from the Supremes to her as a solo artist, and now as a grandmother, you see Diana Ross all the time. She's a great in every respect of that. I think she's a model. She's living a model life. The same thing with Denzel Washington. You can't find nothing bad about Denzel Washington. You know what I mean? And not that you want to do, but when they present themselves as people who are trying to do the best for themselves, for the city, and for their countries. So, and one of my absolute favorites since I was a kid, because my aunt used to live on music all the time, is Barbra Streisand. You cannot find a singer anywhere in the world like Barbra Streisand. I've seen her in person twice. The best shows in the world. And all she do is stand there, sit there and sing. And that's all you need. So, you know, I like people to try to live a better life, live their best life. I call that a model life. And then walk the runway of life. When you walk with good posture. When you walk the hallways in schools, walk with good posture. You know, we know you're not going to do that 24/7, but when you think of it, you straighten up and you just start walking.
Immediately, he started talking about posture, and I know I straightened up in my chair.
So, you know, those are little things, but I'm having a good time with it. You know, I love what I'm doing. I'm passionate for what I'm doing, and in every aspect of my life, I try to have a good time with what I'm doing. And whether it be at a dance, whether it be I'm sitting down at a restaurant eating with somebody, or like we're here right now doing what we're doing with top of the morning. You know, I want to have a good time. A good time means doing the right thing and making people happy if possible.
Absolutely.
And I know that's what you all are doing right here. You know, so I'm game and I'm ready.
Well, if you want to hear more about his teachings and modeling and living a model's life, you know where to go look at his Facebook page. Thank you so much for being part of this show.
Thank you.
It's been absolutely incredible, and we hope to see you guys next time on Top of the Morning.